What if I told you that some of the time the reason why we get lost in our journey is because we are so focused on the next that we are not able to take advantage of the now? I had a dialogue with my mentor, and in the conversation, we were really just talking about a combination of things. But one of the most important parts of the conversation was us talking about this concept of our value, and really start talking about this concept of focusing more on our assignments in life than focusing on the calling or this big thing that we're trying to do. Simply put, the contents of thought was focusing on what are you supposed to be doing currently right now. What I started to realize is that I was so focused on what I'm trying to do next, the next move, the next progression, the next growth. How can I develop and how can I do all these things? I was so focused on the next in my life that I was not paying attention or pouring all the what I had into the now. I realized that the reality is we can't do both. We cannot focus on where we're trying to go fully and at the same time give attention to and pour in everything that we have into where we are right now. One of the things that I am doing starting this month with the Greatness Tribe, and if you're not already a part of it, you need to make sure that you join. But one of the things that I'm doing is I'm about to do a deep dive into a conversation or a study. And what I realized is I'm studying this gentleman by the name of David. And what I realized in David's journey is that David he had a major call, as we would say, upon his life. And the call was to be king. He was anointed to do it. He had the heart to be able to do it. We can be able to go through a combination of different things that we can be able to see in David's life. But what we recognize is that God placed David on one assignment after another. We see several different assignments on his journey to his end goal. And what the end goal would basically be is what the calling is, him being a king, him functioning in this leadership position. But what I start to recognize and see is that as David is walking from one assignment to another and in these different assignments, while he's in that assignment, there are things that he is learning. There are things that he's pouring into. There are ways that he is developing. There's mindsets that's shifting and changing. All of these things are happening, but everything that is in this assignment gives him the tools, the necessary things that he needs for where God is taking him at the end. But what if while David is in these assignments, he's so worried about being a king that he can't give everything he has right now? What if he was so focused on why he was not in the position that he wanted to be in? Why there is Saul sitting in his throne if God has anointed me to do X, Y, and Z, right? And sometimes we can be in the same position. We can be so worried about the future, so worried about why we have not arrived, so worried about why we have not achieved these things, so worried about why we are not going in the way that we feel like we're supposed to be going, and we're not focused on where we currently are at. Where are you at? What are you assigned in doing? Now, some people can be like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't assigned in doing nothing. Yes, you are. You're assigned as a father. You're assigned as a friend. You're assigned as a son. You're assigned at your job, at the desk that you work at the people that's around you. Everything that we're in are assignments. The question is not, are we assigned in places? The real question is, what are we doing while we're in that assignment? How are you growing? Like, honestly, think about it. Have you been staying in the same place? Just say you're working at a certain specific job. Have you been staying in the same mindset, the same emotional place, the same skill set, the same development, the relationships that you've had that are surround you? Are you building? Are you developing people? When you step into a space, is the space changing or has it stayed the same? You're in the space that you're in because you were assigned there. It wasn't by accident nor by coincidence that you got the job that you're in the relationships that you're with, the people that are around you. No, everything that God does is intentional. And so if we believe in the sovereignty of how he works, if we believe in all of these pieces, we have to believe that God would not like on accident put you in a space that he was not trying to use to be able to develop you. He was not trying to use for you to be able to pour into people. So I want us to take some time. Let's really think about this. Let's really think about if you are in a place that you are not taking full advantage of because you are so focused on trying to get out of it. What are you lacking? What are you going to miss out on? But then most importantly, what are the people around you missing out on that you bring to the table? What are people around you missing out on in reference to the mindset that they could have, the development that they can grow into, the stuff that they can be able to learn, the skills, the passion, whatever you bring to the table? What if they're missing out because you're trying to run out? Because you're trying to hurry up and run out the door. You're trying to hurry up and run and get the promotion. You're trying to hurry up and run and get the next thing, whatever that is. You're trying to get all of these things because you're so worried and focused on the future. Now, understand, I do believe that there is a balance. I do believe that we have to plan for our futures, right? We have to script out certain things. We have to make certain choices and all of those things. I get that. Don't negate what I'm saying or push away that I'm not focused on or thinking about those things. No, I understand there's some practicalities of things that we have to do, right? I understand we need to be able to have a plan. I understand people that have 4 5 year 10-year plans and they have goals that they're trying to achieve. I get all of those things, but here's this: you have a goal that you want to achieve in 5 years. And in the goal that you want to achieve in 5 years, that may be you want to be at a financial space in 5 years. You want to be in reference to your job. You want to be somewhere in 5 years in reference to the type of relationships you want. You have this goal that you want to be able to do. You've seen it. You have a picture of what that looks like for you in 5 years. But here's the thing: you have the picture, but now you have to do the work. You cannot hurry up and skip the steps and try to rush through life to try to hurry up and get to the 5 years. No, what do? You dig in. That means you get everything in every step that you take and every space that you're in and every moment that you get into, you're trying to make sure that everything that you do is intentional. This is exactly what I'm saying. Let us not be more focused on where we're trying to go, that we're not being intentional where we are currently. You have an assignment. I have an assignment. And the assignment that we have to recognize it. So here's the question: do you actually know what your assignment is? Some people don't even know that. Some people don't know what their true assignment is. Some people don't know that where they are is their assignment. They can't see it because what they're focused on is what's past where they are. Here's the other thing that I want you to be able to recognize and see something. And I think that this is very important. Not only do you know what your assignment is, but do you know what you bring to the table? Do you know what you bring to the room? Do you know what you're bringing to the relationship? Do you know what type of mindset you have when you're having dialogue and conversation? Do you know what skill set you bring to your job? Do you know these things? Because having an understanding of what the assignment is, but not knowing how you as an individual work the assignment, it is counterproductive. You just doing all this work, but don't understand you have an assignment is just as bad as you understanding you have an assignment, but don't know how to do the work. No, we have to understand that what's in you already is already good enough for where you are. You just have to recognize, what do I have? What perspective do I look at? When I walk into a space, what is the first thing that grieves me? What is the first thing that I want to go after? What is the first thing that I want to start creating? What is the first thing that I want to, conversations that I want to have? What is the first thing that I see? I have to know these things because these are the things that help me be me in the assignment. So while I'm in the assignment now, I can be able to effectively work my assignment and grow and develop those parts in me, because all the parts in you, the way you think, the way you see things, the way you work, the way you carry yourself, all of these are a part to help you get to the primary, get to the goal. But all of these things also need to be developed. And because they need to be developed, God understands that the best teacher in life is life itself. So I have to put you in on the job training. I got to put you in a space where it's going to push against how you think. And I wanted to be able to you to work the way you think. Think on a combination of different ways so you can be able to sharpen the way you think. So then when you actually have to utilize that brain and that thought process or that perspective, you can articulate it clearly because you've been able to sharpen it, because you've had things that came against it, you've had things that push back on it, and now I'm able to use this skill, this adjustment, this mindset that I have to be able to work the assignments that God places me in. So every assignment sharpens a goal, sharpens a skill, sharpens something in you that helps you be prepared for the big goal. When David starts off, his first place that we see him look at, the first assignment that we see him have is actually David being a shepherd. How is that going to help him be prepared to be a king? What is those things that was developing in him? What is the mindset that he had to have? What is the compassion that he needed to be able to have? What is these pieces that we learn from him in this journey? Well, listen, David, being a king, you're going to need to learn how to lead people. Same way you got to lead sheep. Okay, David, you're going to learn how to be able to protect people. Same way that you protect sheep. You're going to have to have a compassion for people that are broken, some that are strong, some that are weak, some that have been abandoned, some that have been abused. You're going to have a compassion for all of those things, the same way you're going to have to do that for sheep. All of these skills and more we see in this context of David's first assignment. And they are now being developed. They are being tested. They're being tried. That's why when David gets in front of Saul, when he is about to go and fight Goliath, and he speaks to Saul, and Saul says, man, basically, what's your qualifications? And David says, here's my qualifications. My qualifications is I fought a lion and I fought a bear. The concept is not that I fought things bigger than myself. The thing is that he's recognizing the same way that God allowed me to be able to protect my father's sheep against things that were larger than me. He's going to give me the strength, the same strength, and I have the same ability to be able to do it against God's sheep. Here's the same context. So now God used to develop me this skill set in the first assignment to prepare me for another assignment. All of these assignments, though, help me get closer to the goal, help me get closer to being a king. So when we look at this storyline and when we look at our own journey, we have to ask ourselves, what is your skill? What is God developing in you right now? What mindset is he doing? Are you the one fighting against your skill set because you're so worried about the future? Are you the one fighting against how good you are because you're not just worried about the future, but you're worried about the past? On the last episode, we talked about something that I believe is very, very helpful, which is this concept of making sure that we're taking responsibility for our present and our future, and understanding that the things in our past, people should have took responsibility for some of that stuff, and some things that we have responsibility for. But the concept is I cannot base what my future is going to be based upon the things and the pain and the struggles that I had in my past. No, I have a responsibility now to be able to work and do what I know I'm supposed to be doing so I can get to where God is trying to take me. How do I do this? I focus on the assignment. I do not focus on the results. In Genesis chapter 12, God showed me this some years ago, and actually reminded me of this through my conversation with my mentor. And one of the things that he says to a man by the name of Abram, who later then became Abraham, one of the things that he said to him was, listen, this is what I want you to do. I need you to leave your comfort zone, leave your family, leave this comfort zone, leave this place, leave your kindred, all of this, and I need you to go to a place that I'll show you. The next verse of scripture in chapter 12, it says this. It says, then God started to say, and this is what I will do. I will do this. I will do that. I will do this. I will make men bless you. Those that bless you, I will bless them. All of these contexts of things that God started to communicate to Abram that he would do. as a result of Abram focusing on the assignment. What was the assignment? Just go. In the assignment of him going, if we watch his journey, there were so many things that he was developing in Abram to prepare him to be the father of many nations. In the same way, God says to us, I need you to focus on the assignment. Don't focus on the results. Don't focus on how this is going to get you there. Don't focus on what this is going to develop in me so I can become this big thing. And I can't wait to be this big. No, no, no. I need you to just focus on the assignment. Your responsibility is the assignment. His responsibility is to get you to the goal. I'm going to say that again. Your responsibility, our responsibility is to focus on the assignment. God's responsibility is to get us to the goal, get us to the calling. That's not your responsibility. So if I understand that my responsibility is to focus on the assignment, then while you're in this assignment, focus, look at it, ask questions, see how God is doing this in the assignment you're in, so that while he's developing you, he's using you to pour in and to impact others. Because remember, if you never remember anything else in this whole conversation, remember this. We always talk about focus on greatness. Greatness is the ability to be able to serve well. And where do we serve? How do we serve well? We serve well because we understand the assignment. And in this assignment, I'm sharpening my skill. I'm sharpening my mind. I'm relearning myself. I'm relearning, I'm questioning, and I'm asking, and I'm pushing myself, because why? I am in an assignment right now. Yes, there's things that I know that can happen ahead. Yes, there's things that I'm believing God to be able to do, and goals and things that I want to achieve. Yes, all of those things are accurate. But where I'm at right now, I'm going to give it everything I got, because I'm on an assignment. And there are skills, there is mindsets, there's perspective, there are things that I have within me that I know has to be for the assignment that I'm in. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when I don't understand, my responsibility is to focus on the assignment. I love you, family. And make sure, if you haven't already, join the Greatness Tribe so you can join these conversations, because we are about to go in. Love you all. See you next time.